Yeah, tough ask to follow after Coach Gerhard and the men's tennis team. Congratulations to them. That was a fantastic result. The first time I was in this press conference, I was making my home debut behind the van on our way to Lincoln, and this time I'm making my away debut. Chicago to Kenosha is not an easy matchup for me, but I'm certainly going to get it done. I'm going to have a great co-pilot, and honestly, that's probably going to be the most stressful part of the trip for me, I hope. Going to have a great co-pilot, our athletic trainer, so we're going to get it done. And heading into the championship meet, I know Coach Gannon outlined what that's going to look like a little bit for us. We're feeling good. Coming on the men's side, coming off our first win since 2007. Well, if we look back at that 2007 team, they performed really well. I don't think it's any shock that they were performing at a high level during the regular season, and then they performed well in the championship part of the season, both conference back in the Missouri Valley and at regional. I believe our top regional finish that year. So, based on history, we're expecting to keep the momentum rolling on the men's side. And on the women's side, we've got great depth. We've had some people left off the team who were in our top 10 this season, but fantastic depth, probably the best we've seen in our 5 years, myself and Coach Gannon. So we're excited about both teams. I think that depth on the women's side is going to be really important, just for fighting for those spaces in the middle of the pack. The body of work is really good. The confidence is feeling good between the athletes. And we've prepared for this course. We've prepared for this moment. We've prepared for the terrain of the course, the weather conditions. We're really looking forward to kind of getting after the championship season and really seeing a true test when it matters.
Every time we meet with you guys, you've been building towards this moment. What do you get a sense of the demeanor of your athletes right now as they get ready to compete in the tournament? They've kind of all had their eyes set on.
Yeah, I think this year, more so than any other years, we're seeing more excitement. I think in the past there's maybe been a little more nerves, which is completely natural. The difference this year being having those regular season results, which are so important heading into that meet. I think the other factor that is a little different this year is we faced a little more Big East competition than usual, racing and competing against Marquette, 2 races in a row. That gives us a pretty good feel on how we're going to match up with them and some other teams heading in, as opposed to the great unknown heading in, and any unknown is going to lead to certainly doubt. And so if we were to talk with any of the athletes right now, they're feeling good. They've been talking to former athletes or athletes currently on the team who were on that team 4 years ago. Danielle among them has been really rallying the troops on the women's side, being a great leader. And so we're feeling good. We actually had the opportunity as well to watch last Big East at Kenosha, and so they're having some familiarity with the course as well, which is leading them to be a little more confident. Now, certainly on race day, pre-meet, once we're flying out there, it's going to seem a little real, so there's going to be a little more nerves, but I think as long as we keep them under control, that quiet confidence is going to really highlight what we've been building up to, as you said, and we're going to see that in the results.
How is training going? Is it any different as you get ready for Big East? Like, is the intensity wrap up? Like, what changes about training, if anything?
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, you can take any good old saying, haze in the barn. I'm not sure if that's an English or American saying, but we'll roll with that one.
Yeah, we know it.
We'll roll with haze in the barn. For this part, we're not trying to gain any more fitness. The gains we're going to see is just that little extra recovery, again, that extra 30 minutes of sleep. And so whether that's going a little later in morning practice or not even having morning practice. So a little less emphasis on the training and more emphasis on recovery, seeing our athletic trainer, good food, nutrition, and recovery. Those all things are all connected. And so for us, we've backed off a little bit. We were aiming to peak. This is what we've aimed for, as you said, all season. So the work's been done for the most part. A little bit of intensity, we don't want to lose it, but it's going to be very short and manageable. And then pre-meet is going to be the same pre-meet we have been doing, and so a great opportunity for them to see the course, but also keep their legs ticking over, especially for us. It's our first time flying for the year, but honestly, it's going to be a shorter travel than going to Columbia, Missouri early in the year, an hour flight and an hour drive. So it's going to be pretty manageable. So yeah, from a coaching standpoint, looking back, I'm sure myself and Coach Gannon, there's maybe 1 or 2 tweaks we'd make, but from a macro standpoint, we feel really good about how we prepared our athletes for this moment, whether that's the challenge of the course or just the quickness of the course when you're facing those athletes.
Last time you did a rumble, weather
Yeah, no, great question. What they don't tell you about becoming a cross-country coach is become almost an expert meteorologist. And so myself, Coach Gannon, we're looking at the weather almost every day, and we knew heading in 2 weeks out, obviously that forecast is not going to be for sure, but we knew there was going to be a little bit of rain. And so last time out, I said I was glad to have that race in those adverse conditions. And so that's going to prepare us so that we know what we're doing. And I think it's going to be less slippery, maybe less muddy, but we're certainly prepared for it. In the Midwest, the saying is, if you don't like the weather, just wait a day, and that's certainly been the case. So on race day, it's honestly not going to be bad. In 2 weeks from now in Stillwater, they've had highs of 70s, and they're going to have lows of 30. So we've got no idea what, 2 weeks from now is going to look like, and maybe we do have to heat acclimate a little bit, but that's something we'll get to when we have to after this race. But race day conditions should be pretty solid for the most part, 50, which for this time of year in Wisconsin is perfect, considering last time we were out there was a foot of snow. So we're pretty appreciative that the weather's cooperating, but it's certainly going to be impact basically on the week before with the rain and whatnot.